if I am a not for profit, if I am running a social organization which doesn't target returns, can I think about my business model? I'm not targeting returns. I'm not looking at it as a business. It's an NGO I'm running. It's a not for profit organization. I'm a municipality. I'm a municipal councillor. As a government, we are launching a new scheme. We're not charging any money. We don't need any money. Budgets allocated, everything. Do I need to worry about my business model? As a municipality, I'm starting an activity. Just because it says business model doesn't mean it applies only to businesses. You can use this tool for any activity that you are launching. And we'll talk about the subsets of the business model and some of the framework behind it in more detail. But sitting in a room and doing a business model is a very, very bad idea. I meet with a lot of early stage businesses, entrepreneurs with ideas. They take a lot of, they make a lot of presumptions, and they start building an organization executing on the basis of those presumptions and end up wasting very scarce resources or funding they have before they realize that they made a lot of mistakes. So the biggest mistake that I have seen early stage business or entrepreneurs take is sitting in the room. They assume, I know what my customer wants. We take a lot of assumptions about customers, and this is more relevant for social businesses because quite a lot of times entrepreneur may not be the customer of his own product or services. People in his family, friends may not be, unless let's say you are catering to a rural community. If you have never lived in a village, you don't know that customer. You assume you know it, but you don't know the customer. You don't know the problem well enough, you don't know the services they require, the features they require. So that's one of the biggest mistakes that a lot of entrepreneurs make. So we are going to talk about how this framework can be used to ensure that you're not making those mistakes. And you start with an assumption that all these are guesses in your mind, these are hypotheses. You need to either validate them or you need to go and test them in the field and hear it from the actual customers. So why are we talking about business models? Why do we need to talk about this? Most of the management tools that you see on the web, you read in your books, you read in your curriculum and all, they are not applicable to startups. Most of the tools are 50, 100 years old. All the conventional tools for either strategy, finance, personal management, operations, everything is old. It doesn't work in early stage, and smaller companies are not smaller versions of larger organizations. Their challenges are very different. Early stage entrepreneur needs to operate in a search mode. He is searching every day. Who is my customer? Am I now sure this is my customer? So you need to first figure out a model that will work with n number of customers, that will work every day. So a customer will not come and say, I'll accept your product if you give me 50% discount. Next day somebody comes and says, wow, great product, let me buy it. Right? So you're not getting these confusing messages. You need to be sure in your mind that yes, I know now who my customer is. How do you describe a business model and why do you need to do that? So you can see a picture there in the background. Whenever we start building a house or office or any building, the first thing that people do is sit down and create a layout. Why is a layout needed? Because if you don't do it, there are n number of people working on that project. There's plumber, there's electrician, there is a construction labor, there's an architect. How many people are working on it? If there's no layout, if you let them do whatever they wanted to do, you end up getting something like this. Is there any theme in this? When you tell people just go and build, no layout, do whatever you like. That is why business model is relevant, and you are asking for a very simple definition rather than complicating it. So business model is how does an organization create value, deliver value, and then captures value. That's the easiest way to think about it. So there are 9 subsets in this. We are going to talk about each of them briefly. So let's look at each of the components. First thing, normally an entrepreneur starts with an idea of a product or service, because you're passionate about something, you like a technology, you want to build a product around it. You see somebody having a problem, you want to create a solution for that, right? So who are you creating the solution for? Why? So it's not about your idea or product. You need to figure out what do your customers need, right? So you're satisfying a customer need. Just remember that you're trying to understand, you're trying to validate two things. First, you need to understand the problem before you create solution. Okay, you have some ideas in your mind, we'll come to that. First thing is, what is the problem? So figure out who the customer is, whose problem are you solving? Is it your father's problem, your uncle's problem, your child's problem, or some neighbor's problem? Go and sit with him and understand from him what their problem is. And don't go by just one person, identify the customer segment. Who is the average customer going to come from a slum? Are they going to come from a village? Or are they going to come from a particular, are they going to be females 35 plus? Are they going to be youngsters going to colleges 18 plus? Who are the customers? And then go and sit down with them, and then whatever your product or solution is, figure out what jobs are they performing through that activity, and what are their pains, what are their frustrations, what gains do they want to create. So how do they see measure of success? So the point was, you have to figure out the gains that the customer wants to create. While doing this, forget about your idea. You do not exist as an entrepreneur when you are trying to understand the customer, because then you go with a bias in your mind, prejudices that you have. So the first thing, keep that home. Go there as an independent observer with an open mind. Once you have figured that out, so you understood the problem, then you need to understand your own solution more deeper than what you did. So what your product and service was, what pains were you solving, what gains were you creating, and then figure out what the mismatch is. And then maybe then you can say, okay, these are the 5 things that the customer wanted resolved, I am solving only 2 of them. So either I need to completely change my idea, or maybe as an early stage entrepreneur, as a startup, I cannot solve all these five pains. Let me start with 2. I'll slowly add 3rd, 4th, 5th. But then you need to figure out, if you solve only 2 of those 5 pains that the customer has, is customer willing to engage with you for whatever partial problem that you are solving? So we already talked about customer segment, so it moves in parallel, right? So you have to create a profile of customers, right? Your customers do not exist to buy your product, you exist for them. So you have to create which geography are they coming from, what demographics and all. We already talked about it. You need to empathize with your customer, and there's a way to do that. There are a lot of different frameworks to do that, to understand your customer. Just quickly look at one of them. So your customer is not an individual. Your customer is an individual within an ecosystem. When I go and buy a shirt for myself, either my girlfriend or my wife is influencing my decision of which color to buy, right? When you go and buy a car, your friends, your advisors, people you interact with, they are influencing your choice. If you are selling a software into a company, starting from CEO to CFO to user, there are, you may see this as a one customer, but behind that one customer, it's not a homogeneous crowd there. There are 5 people from different functions coming. So you need to figure out, what does your customer see in the environment that they are operating in? What other solutions is the market offering to them? What is he hearing from his friends, bosses, influencers? What is he saying and doing in public? And then, what really counts for him? What is he thinking and feeling? Intangible that he talked about, right? So that's the most difficult part, and that can come only when you are, observing the customer. So once you have figured out the product and the solution, then you need to worry about the channels. What channels are you using to reach out to your customers? So if you have a prepaid mobile, if you want to put a credit in your mobile, and the telecom operator gives you only one shop to do it, which is outside the city, are you going to travel 50 kilometers to do that? No, right? You want it on your way, going from work to office, sitting at your home on your laptop, you should be able to do it. So understand what your customers' routines are. When they go and buy a particular product, where are they buying it from? and your channel should be part of that routine. Channel also has several faces, right? You need to help your customers you're creating an awareness of your products. You need to help them evaluate your solution. Different businesses require different intensity in different phases. So when buying a car, evaluation becomes very important. You take test drives, you do it twice, you do it 3 times, you go and look at 3 competitors, you go to salesmen and say, Hyundai में तो ये है, आपका Polo में क्या है? So, you know, evaluation is an important part. So you need to focus, depending on what is important for your product, you need to focus on that area. Once you have done that, then you need to see how are you creating relationship with your customers, how does your company get new customers, keep them and grow them. And then finally, what is the revenue model? How does the company make money? What is your customer willing to pay for? It's not about what you want to charge for. What does your customer want to pay for? Once you have done all these 5 pieces, then I said 9 pieces, right? So that's right side of this spectrum. All of this is beyond your control. These are external market factors. You cannot decide and say, hey, you are my customer. Or you cannot say, you are my customer, you buy this from this shop. Right? Customer will decide whether you want to buy it, whether beyond your control. So more exploration needed on the field to figure out these 5 areas. Once you have sorted that, then everything else becomes important. Then you need to figure out what are the key resources required for you to provide the solution to the customer. Some of those as a startup you may not have. So you may need to create partnership with your suppliers. You know, maybe a biggest customer, you say if you buy X number, then I'm going to give you X% discount. So there are several strategic partners you may require. And then based on the resources you have, based on the partnerships you have created, then you need to decide what are the key activities you are going to perform. And based on that, you're going to get your cost structure.